Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea about prayer, one that goes way beyond just asking for things. We're going to break down a fascinating lecture that reframes prayer as a fundamental act of transformation.
So, right off the bat, the source material challenges our most basic assumptions. We often think of prayer as this kind of spiritual wish list, but this lecture says, no, it's something totally different.
The core idea here is all about connection. Think of prayer less like a monologue and more like a telephone call. It's the act of tuning your mind, your own personal wavelength, to a specific frequency to get a clear, direct line to the heavens. The goal isn't just to talk, it's to actually become one with the universal energy.
But, just like with any call, you need a good signal, right, for that connection to actually go through. The source explains there's a super important prerequisite. You can't just pick up the phone and expect an answer. You've got to prepare your mind first.
And this is where the lecture makes a really crucial distinction. It argues we have to shift from what it calls the ego mind, which is constantly wrapped up in me, my worries, my fortune, to a transparent mind. And in this state, the I just kind of fades into the background, and we become this clear, open vessel.
So how on earth do you do that? Well, the lecture proposes this really powerful technique, sublimation. You take all those small personal anxieties, all that nervous energy, and you don't just shove it down, you actually transform it. You channel it into this powerful, selfless passion for making the world a better place. And that act, right there, is what liberates you from the prison of your own ego.
Okay, so let's say your mind is clear, the line is open. How do you know if the prayer itself is, well, correct? The source doesn't leave you guessing. It gives a very clear three-part framework you can use to check yourself.
As you can see, the three criteria for a true, effective prayer are beauty, goodness, and love. And these aren't just some abstract pie-in-the-sky ideals. They're meant to be practical tests.
First up, beauty. This is all about objectivity. Can you step outside of yourself for a second and just look at your prayer? Is it pure? Is it free from all the messy distortions of selfish desire, or just trying to save your own skin? Is the form of your prayer something you would genuinely call beautiful?
In this sense of beauty, it isn't just a nice little side effect. According to the source, it's the ultimate proof that a prayer is truthful and aligned with something way bigger than yourself. A prayer that's twisted up by greed just isn't beautiful. It's as simple as that.
The second criterion is goodness. And to test it, the lecture gives us this really powerful thought experiment. Imagine your deepest, innermost prayer was written down for literally everyone to see, not just your friends, but by gods and Buddhas. Would you feel a sense of shame?
And this connects to a really key insight. That feeling of shame, it's not seen as some kind of flaw. It's actually a feature. It's described as a natural, built-in guidance system, like a spiritual compass that lets us know when our heart has wandered off the path of goodness.
And finally, the third and most essential piece of the puzzle, love. A prayer can be beautiful, it can be good, but without this, it's just incomplete. A true prayer has to be rooted in this active desire to serve, to use your limited time and energy on this planet for the benefit of other people. It's the engine that powers the whole thing.
Now, this three-part framework is so important because the lecture gives a very serious warning about what happens when prayer is done the wrong way. The energy you send out, it has to go somewhere.
So, what counts as a misguided prayer? Well, it's any prayer that's fundamentally all about you. Any prayer that stubbornly demands a certain outcome without you having any intention of changing yourself. Or any prayer that basically boils down to, hey, as long as I'm okay, that's all that matters. According to the source, these prayers do not connect with the heavenly realm. So instead of going up, this energy goes somewhere else. The lecture is really direct on this point. These selfish, misguided thoughts connect to what it calls the demonic realm or hell. And here's the most fascinating and frankly chilling part. For beings in that realm, a place where spiritual light supposedly doesn't reach, these misguided prayers from us down here are their only source of energy. Your selfish thoughts literally become the fuel that sustains and expands that negative power. Wow.
This leads us to the most profound and transformative concept in the entire lecture. It's not just about what prayer is or how to do it, but what it ultimately does to the person praying.
Entering a state of true prayer is described as nothing less than a form of death. It's that moment where your everyday physical ego, your worries, your identity, your small self, it just stops being the center of the universe and essentially dies away.
But this death is immediately followed by a rebirth. In that very same moment, you're reborn as a spiritually liberated person, totally free from the chains of that small, physical self. It's a complete and total transformation.
And this leads to a really powerful conclusion. True prayer isn't some passive, temporary thing. It's an event. If your mindset, your actions, your entire way of life are exactly the same before and after you pray, then according to this lecture, you haven't truly prayed at all. Real prayer demands real change.
So at the end of the day, prayer is presented as this powerful, conscious decision. It's a determination to settle your accounts with your past, to break from the person you were, and to fundamentally align your entire being with a higher will and a new way of living.
And all this leaves us with a final provocative thought. The real question this lecture poses isn't just about the technique of prayer, it's about its purpose. If every true prayer is a chance to die and be reborn, who then do you choose to become?